what's happening in the world of gaming.
People hating on Rob Crossley. Hello and welcome to CVG Off The Record episode 2. My name is Timur Hussain. I'm staff writer for CVG and I am joined in the studio by Andy Robinson.
Hello.
Nick Cohen.
Hello.
Who are you? You are not a CVG staff member.
I'm not.
He's a veteran contributor.
Yep. Many reviews on our site, but you work for...
Anyone who'll have me. In fact, if you're a commissioning editor and you're listening to this, my email address is...
Please, no one send him abuse.
That definitely won't happen.
Definitely don't send him abuse.
That definitely won't happen.
Also, Chris Scullion.
Hello.
Games editor for CVG. We still
Correct.
don't know what that means.
Nope.
An official Nintendo magazine's Joe Screbbles.
Hello.
Broke his way in again.
Yeah, somehow. He just hides in the
The guy
corner
who
and
still
then waits
doesn't-
for us to set up a podcast and just leaps out.
He's the only one who knows how to press the record button. So
The only one without a next-gen
we have to
console.
have him on, yeah.
Last week
Oh,
we
were
had
you?
a lengthy discussion about the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and we're going to start this podcast off by having a less lengthy discussion about the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I've got one now. I've got an Xbox.
As do I.
Nick and Andy have both.
Yeah.
Chris has
Xbox
an
One.
Xbox, and Joe is still playing baby games with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Joe's
Colours.
got a Wii U with Xbox One
Yeah.
written on it in marker pen.
That's what I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Just put a big
Ironically,
green
though,
X
he's
on
got
it.
he's got probably the best game coming out in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, he does, yeah.
So first, let's go on with Chris.
Hello.
How's your Xbox One experience been?
Is it
It's
broken?
nice. No, mine's thankfully isn't one of the broken ones. It doesn't have a disk drive that goes.
So what are the
So-
big problems with broken Xboxes right now? Because I'm seeing a lot of people. I can't filter out what's fanboy rubbish and what's just genuine problem.
Was that Skype thing real?
No,
Was that not real?
The official comment from Microsoft. Are you talking about the bans? For
Yeah.
Yeah, the
language?
weird...
The
The
weird.
official
weird
comment from
error
languages from Microsoft on the languages. That's not true. They don't monitor Skype calls.
I wish it was true though, because that was brilliant language.
Oh,
that,
yeah,
that
that's
turned into a
incredible.
meme instantly.
Yeah, because the error message was
DVRs,
broken,
though.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, they are banning people for swearing on game DVRs.
Yeah, that makes sense because I mean that you upload that and you can put that on YouTube instantly if you
Yeah.
want
Well,
to.
okay.
Well, it's viewable. It's viewable
you
on
can.
your activity feed by anyone. So
Mm.
I guess
Yeah.
perhaps it is something they need to moderate.
I
Yeah.
thought the only platform you could share your uploads on was...
Oh, you can't do
Xbox
it.
Live.
You can't do it
Put it on
through.
SkyDrive, right?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
put it on SkyDrive and then take it out. And because it's limited to like 15 seconds, your file is never more than 9 megabytes.
Okay,
And that uploads to YouTube in
think-
about 30 seconds.
I think it
It's
is more the
limited.
fact
You
that
do
people
more than
can.
15 seconds.
Is it really 15 seconds?
You
I
can do
thought it was
more- you can
15
do more
seconds.
than that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's
I've
longer
never
than
done more than 15 seconds.
that. Yeah,
Maybe
you
I
can
should do
up
some
to
more.
You can do up to 5 minutes. I think.
Oh, right.
Does someone
Um,
stand behind you with a stopwatch? 15
Yeah,
seconds.
50 seconds. Well, I
I
just
think-
usually do it at the end of a match. Like, that's when I'm at my best.
I think it is because you can publish it to at the very least the Xbox community, where you can certainly on Smart Glass you can view community clips that people have uploaded. I think that's the reason. They in theory their code of conduct is that you shouldn't swear when playing multiplayer either, but obviously they can't trace that back and see if you did it because this is something that is saved and is available to double to check.
I
back
was
on.
expecting it to explode more than this. You know.
Yeah,
I was
it's
expecting
oddly-
the whole recording features of both consoles to just absolutely take
Yeah.
off very quickly by now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, only 2 territories have the PS4,
yeah, but even
which,
so,
and the PS4 you've seen like phenomenons like the Spartan show
Yeah.
streaming from Playroom on Twitch
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I expected like game footage to be everywhere. I expected to be swimming. But it's just it doesn't seem to be. I mean, it was never going to be quite as well thought out on the Xbox just because of how close they are. I mean, I recorded an amazing FIFA goal the other day, which was it was supposed to be a cross. It was the right back. I think I was playing Crystal Palace, and it was supposed to be a cross from the right back, just bang, like 60 yards, top corner.
Nice.
And I said I said to my Connect really smugly, Xbox, record that, and it did. But I couldn't when I was searching for it in the office to show you guys the other day. You couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, because you
Smart Glass
then-
app, nope.
yeah,
can't
because
see
you
it on
then have to
Xbox.
go.
Yeah,
on
you have
the-
to go into the upload studio and
What's
select
that
and
all
save
about?
it.
On the PS4, that would be on Facebook. That would be on YouTube.
Yeah, but it is a different way of doing it. It's more the fact that it almost expects you just to record a series of clips and then edit them together to make like a montage, just to give you the option of doing that.
Well, and then
So-
put it on
and then put it on.
SkyDrive, and then
Exactly.
take it off SkyDrive and put it somewhere else.
Yeah, it's not very well.
Yeah,
It's not very well done.
You turn your nose up at it, but that's the first thing I did with it. I recorded a clip
And
from
when you
Killer
get a
Instinct.
PS4, you'll just press the share
Yeah, I
button.
assume so, but
But you're
And
right
it
that
will
it
go on the
hasn't
internet.
it hasn't taken off. Like I've seen, I think I saw more Animal Crossing photos.
Well,
on
to be
Twitter
fair,
when
that's
that came
probably
out,
because the caliber of games is not there yet. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
a clip of someone playing Knack's going to go viral, to be honest.
yeah.
But when better games
dare
come
you.
with
For the wrong
emerging-
reasons,
I mean, say for
maybe.
example, if GTA 5 does turn up
Yeah.
halfway through next year, footage of that will be all over the shop, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I've
true.
seen about 10 clips of Ryse, and it's just a guy battering people, which I could see that in Glasgow any night. That doesn't do anything for me.
That was racist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bring it.
pretty upset with you.
Right. So, any other games you've been playing on Xbox One?
Um,
You've been playing a lot of
yeah, I've been
rubbish
been
games.
playing quite-
Of course
well,
you have. Getting the achievements on Netflix or something.
Yeah, Netflix is
Oh,
terrible
man,
achievements.
I
by the
said
way.
that as soon as I got the console. I can imagine Chris grinding Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, you better believe it. I'm a self-confessed.
Leaves it on all night with like Clueless episodes of Clueless running.
I've watched Weekend at Bernie's 6 times on my way.
I think it should be established fairly early on in this series that I'm an achievement whore.
Are there achievements for
Unashamed.
Skype? He's going to be like
No,
phoning
there's
me
no,
up.
there's
all
no,
kinds of
there's no
stuff.
achievements for Skype. Yeah, just for how's it going? Just sit there for a minute.
Mum,
No,
just
there's
leave
no-
it on while you go to the shops.
The worst achievement, just for the record, is on Twitch, the Twitch app, where you have to watch at least a minute of Twitch every hour for 24 hours in a day. It expects you to be on Twitch for.
Oh my God.
I
you
guess
don't
you
even
just
get.
leave it on
just
for
leave
an
it on.
entire
Yeah,
day.
that's what
Just
I'm
go on
hoping you'll
holiday.
do.
You've already
You
got
don't
that
even-
achievement, haven't you?
No. I've got limits.
Yeah.
Very,
I have
very,
standards, damn it.
exactly. God damn it.
How long till
Um,
the first person in some country dies watching Twitch, and it becomes the next problem?
And ironically ends up twitching. But no, I mean, Power Star Golf is
Very good.
Power Star Golf is surprisingly good.
Nick is starting to think, "What am I doing here? This is wrong." So, what are the other problems with Xbox? You were mentioning something to do with.
Fuck Power Star
That's
Golf.
it. We've acknowledged Power Star Golf.
I don't care about Power Star Golf. What are the
future
other
of
problems
golf.
with Xbox? You were
So
saying?
it's sort of emerged this week in Europe that there's quite a large fault with the TV HDMI in function on Xbox One. A lot of the commenters were asking why I didn't mention this in my review. And frankly, it's because you have to compare the two side by side to notice the difference. Even when the reports were coming out, I dismissed them completely. I said my Sky ran fine. And if you look at the comments kind of across the game sites, it's polarized completely. I mean, we were joking about it in the office the other day, weren't we, where we were looking on one other website, which we won't name. And one comment would be, I can't notice a difference. My Sky runs flawlessly. And the next comment would be, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And it was consistent throughout the entire thread on this electronic site. And so I got home that evening and I thought, I'll compare it. I was watching football. I was watching the West Brom Villa game. And I watched it through my Xbox and I plugged it into the television. And also had a look at Sky Sports News. A lot of people were saying you can notice it on like tickers and stuff.
Yeah.
And Christ, there's a big difference. I mean, it's certainly not unwatchable. If you've got your television, your Skybox or your Virgin or whatever your cable, your TV provider is running for your Xbox, it's taken me 2 weeks and someone to point it out to notice.
Yeah.
But when you do compare the two and you're obsessive compulsive like me, it's unacceptable really. And the problem comes from, it's for Europe and Australia, I think, or basically anywhere that's not parts of Asia and America, basically. Television broadcasts run at 50 hertz, which is slower than 60 hertz, which America has and Japan has. So games consoles run at 60 hertz, even in Europe, because it's faster. So if you run a 50 hertz signal for a 60 hertz Xbox, they have to compensate by duplicating some of the frames. So although it's technically running as fast, it looks sluggish. Like if you're watching football, it's only sport and like news tickers and stuff like that you notice.
Yeah.
It's just not as smooth because they're duplicating the frames.
Every
If
6
you have a look
frames.
on CVG on our report, there is a hack to fix it. You can kind of trick your Xbox One into displaying in 50 hertz mode, although there's no like official switch in the settings. You can trick it in displaying in 50 hertz mode, which fixes it completely. But games run slower, so you have to, if you're again obsessive compulsive enough like me to actually do that hack to watch television, you then have to change it back if you want to play a game.
I tell you, the best way to
Nice.
fix it is play Powerstar Golf.
Yeah, I was
instead.
going to say you could sidestep that problem entirely by just
No,
playing
but all
Powerstar
the
Golf.
swings and stuff wouldn't be as smooth.
That's true.
Go on, Chris. Tell us about Powerstar Golf.
It's a golf game tomorrow
Yeah,
on
I've
Xbox
heard.
One. Yeah, that's about it. No, it's good. It's a bit like
Is it Hot Shots Golf?
It's a kind of Hot Shots golf, everybody's golf type thing, but it looks surprisingly nice. It's
Riveting
about
stuff.
15 quid.
When
It's
I-
not going to change worlds. It's not
Do
going
you
to.
reckon they picked the name off of a list of other generic possible titles?
What is
I
it
was
called
gonna-
again? I've literally
It's called
forgotten
Powerstar
Oh,
Golf.
See,
Golf.
I
It's not-
was going to say,
So it's like
I'm,
Power Golf.
I'm against that game just for not being Power Stone Golf.
Yeah.
Like when I first heard it, I was like,
man.
oh my god, they're incredible.
Oh.
When if you had to like craft your own golf clubs out of other golf clubs.
Powerstone Golf.
I mean,
Down
it's
for
not
it.
going to unite Korea or anything like that. It's just a
What?
generic.
I
it's
don't
not
know
gonna
game
change the
will.
world, it's
Actually,
just
wait,
a
it's
generic-
StarCraft.
barometer.
I know,
for whether a game
but
is
like
good.
unite Korea.
Does this
no.
game unite
7
Korea?
out of 10.
No, 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
Plus the best game of its kind. Minus
the best golf.
Korea's still duking it out.
Game. It is the best golf game on Xbox One. I can categorically
Nick,
say.
what's your experience of the Xbox One been like so far?
You've been playing quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah,
You've been reviewing a lot of stuff for us, like
Yeah.
a machine.
Well, you say that. How many? I've given you one review.
Really?
But it was a very long one.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
okay.
was
No,
lots of that review.
No, I think I've been reviewing a lot of titles for different publications. What I've been playing a lot of is Ryse, and yeah, Ryse is. I like. The thing is, I started off hating Ryse, and then I really liked it in the middle, and then by the end I hated it all over again, but I can't kind of stop playing. It's the dumbest game I've ever played.
Yeah, I'm curious about it.
Oh, seriously, like.
There was a point where you came into the office and convinced yourself of a score that you wanted to give it. Like you talked to yourself standing in front of us for a bit. I was like, I'm going to give it this, and then you walked off.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna-
It seems like Gears of Rome. to
Oh
me.
no, Gears is Gears is like Shakespeare compared to this. Seriously, at least Gears has got. I mean, this is the story is. Hang on,
Just trying to keep
my
a straight
brain is
face.
trying to do a somersault. Right, so
The coal train ends up in Rome.
woo. Anyway, what happens is you. Okay, so if you don't want the story of Ryse spoiled, turn off now.
Trust me, you're fine without it.
A
But
4-hour story of Ryse.
here's the thing: you start off with your parents getting killed in Rome, and then because
Batman.
your dad knew some bloke in a legion, he says, "I'll give you blood," and he takes you to Britain, and then you kill a bunch of people in Britain, and then you find out that Rome was run by people who weren't really nice, and you don't like them very much.
Wow.
Best way to get at them is to become a gladiator.
Nice.
Yep,
perfect sense.
That's actually the logic of the plot there.
That's almost as good as the bit in Splinter Cell Blacklist where he has a guy who can infiltrate Guantanamo Bay, so he gets the guy to infiltrate Guantanamo Bay and put him in Guantanamo
Yeah.
Bay.
Yeah, well, he's breaking out of Guantanamo Bay. Why don't you just break in?
Well, yeah,
But
could have just gone in and shot the man.
this is the thing. It's like
The man, the Guantanamo
If
Bay.
you-
man.
Guantanamo man.
Mr. Guantanamo.
if you actually know your history, which I do because I majored in classics in university, and it's like this game is less historically accurate than Zack Snyder's 300. And I'm serious.
Wow.
Because at least the event in 300 actually happened. I
At
mean,
least it had 300 people in it.
well, no, there were
No?
substantially more than 300
What?
people.
Come on.
And they were also, you're going to
Taking
be
off-
shocked at this, they were wearing substantially more when they fought the Persians.
I'm taking my Blu-ray straight back to CEX.
But yeah, but at least that battle took place and it's got some historical context. This is just, I mean, like I said in the review, the Britons pitch up wearing, riding elephants. Because as we all
What?
know, elephants.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, because elephants are indigenous to the British Isles, or at least they were back then.
And they love it when humans ride them.
Yeah,
Are there not like points where there's like an endless supply of
oh
elephants?
yeah,
as
there
well?
was.
It's just they never end.
There's this bit.
Like out of a conveyor belt, or just like
It's
Well,
like a
this is
instead of
stampede
spawning,
thing.
or
I
what's
actually
going
put
on?
this in the review. There's a bit
Yeah.
in the game where you have to stop Boadicea charging the palace on her elephant. Because as we know, Boadicea was renowned for riding elephants.
I like that Boadicea, the woman who is actually renowned for riding something,
Yeah.
a chariot. They're like, fuck it, elephant
But this is the thing.
but on wheels.
You think to yourself that maybe the conversations were like, what I saw the other night? What? Gladiator. That was brilliant. We're going to have a bit in the Colosseum. Okay,
Put Oliver Reed in it.
And I also saw Alexander put some elephants in as well. How do we go from the Colosseum to elephants? You're fired. Okay, new writer. I can actually do that. But
They all start figuring out that
there's
they
a-
want to keep their job. They just go with it.
The best screen I've seen of Ryse so far, one screen from the current version, is a screenshot that is a game over screen that says "an elephant killed your troops," which is like. Why doesn't it just say you died like any normal game? Like, they love elephants.
I saw a screen cap area. The Centurions in it are actually wearing pants. If you sort of upskirt them, someone did it on Twitter. They just got like some Y fronts on.
So the story sucks.
Yeah, it does. But it really does. But there's a bit in that I was trying to tell you about. That basically, you're in Rome. You try and stop Boadicea riding her elephant into the palace. And you have to run across this bridge, which has got all these pools of burning oil all over the place. So you have kind of zigzag here. And to make it a bit more challenging, elephants are charging towards you. So you have to zigzag between the elephants and the fire and get to the end. And, if the elephant touches you, you die. I mean, you're not trampled. It touches you and you fall to one knee as though the queen's about to knight you. It's like... And I got to the end of this bit, and at the end of the bridge is this big wall of fire. And I looked at it, and just elephants were coming through it. And I thought, are they ever going to run out of elephants? And I just sat there watching these things transfixed for about 20 seconds. I thought, well, no, I'm on deadline. I better get on with it. But I'm actually going to go back and use the Upload Studio, because I think that's exactly the sort of thing that should be shared.
5 minutes
with
of elephants.
And he just thought to himself, maybe that's what happened to Britain's indigenous population of elephants. They were all taken to Rome to invade, and they all died on a bridge trying to run down one guy who was just too quick for them.
So it goes out saying you didn't enjoy Ryse, but what did you enjoy on Xbox One? What are you enjoying?
I like Dead Rising. I think Dead Rising's got.
Tell me more about it. I still haven't got it, but it's the game I'm currently
was-
thinking about buying.
The highlight was getting into the strip club, not for the reason you think, and finding a vacuum cleaner and a box of dildos and building a weapon which, if memory serves correctly, is called the Super Massager. And I thought that I knew...
Sold!
I thought I needed to hit zombies with this. And I just thought, no, you're actually just cuffing them with the butt of it. And then you fire it. And you're firing out dildos. Like, you hit them in the head and they sort of wander around with these things coming out of their heads.
The highlight for me in it so far is, without a doubt, watching the kind of cutscenes played straight, but wearing ridiculous costumes. Like when all says, "Oh, they've got to get from the zombies," and you're wearing like a bear's head, like Nicolas Cage in The Wicker Man. It's unbelievable.
It does have a strange aura, that game. A game that was supposed to be serious, and then perhaps halfway through they went, "Oh no, we should kind of keep our roots of being a bit zany."
Yeah, because everyone went
serious
mental when they saw the first screens. A lot of people said, "Wait a minute, this looks serious. This doesn't look crazy," and it's almost as if, quick, let's put a Mega Man costume in there.
See, the thing is,
to keep people happy.
When I was talking to someone from Capcom about it, they tried to they presented it as an intentional part of the game. They're like, we made the world really dark, but then everything in it is ridiculous, so we can have this clash, this contrast.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Well,
halfway through they
I
were like,
really-
oh,
I
nobody
enjoyed
likes
it.
this. Put some dildos in it.
The thing is, you can play with mechanics and you can play with you can play with practically anything in a game, but what you can't really mess about with is tone. And the thing is, it is. I mean, I found some aviator glasses and some cowboy chaps and a policeman's shirt, and at one point I pitched up in this really hectic scene. It was like someone from the Village People had wandered into The Walking Dead. You know what I mean?
You're
How
selling
are we
this
gonna
game
get out
really
here?
well.
I said, young man.
It's awesome.
Right, so that's anything else you've been playing?
I've been playing Forza, which I'm rubbish at.
I am also rubbish at the game.
But then again, everyone I know is rubbish, and I know because from their drivatars. Every single corner we go into, it's just this, we're T-boning each other right, left and centre. Purists are not going to like this game unless they only play with purists.
Is that because it hasn't been long enough for the AI that they're putting together to form into a good
Well, you have to
To
play a
reach
couple of races for it
singularity.
yeah, to reach. I can't remember
I like the
word
idea
right
of
now.
just turning it on and suddenly everything drives perfectly in sync in really eerie ways. Just
They
like
become
the computers
self-aware.
I
and
just,
intelligent.
I don't trust
start
my,
spelling out words in cars.
I don't trust my drive attack, because I've been playing it for like 3 or 4 hours now, and it still says at the top after a race, Drivatar sync is like 9% now, and I'm like, well, he's not ready. Like, leave him. Like
Don't
he's
send
not
him
ready.
out
Like,
there.
you're
Out
sending
there.
him out to die.
See, if you're
Just like
if
he's
you're
not-
playing the game and you see my Drivatar and it keeps running into you,
Yeah.
he is working as he should be. I have designed that Drivatar to be a kamikaze driver.
That is an
He's designed to
interesting-
just run into everyone.
It's an interesting metagame where you
the way
have
I
to
play it,
succeed
yeah.
and play badly.
The way I play that
create a
game is
troll.
when I'm turning, if there's not a car for me to bounce off into the turn,
Yeah.
I'm failing
Yeah,
that
oh,
turn.
definitely.
That turn is getting screwed.
It is. You're playing like an arcade race, and
Yeah.
like I said, all the people I know are playing it the same way. I mean, I took a corner at the Top Gear track. I thought, I took that really well. And then you see like someone that you recognise from another publication take a wide angle thing, crash into the barrier, and spin round. And you think, you're rubbish.
That Top Gear track is quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
They present it as like you're going to get to see all the scenes from London and stuff like that. And then when you get on the track, it's just like loads of dustbins being thrown at
Oh,
you and
yeah.
like wooden cardboard cutouts of iconic landmarks and that kind of thing, yeah. But I don't know. I don't think I'll be playing that game much longer. It's just not my cup of tea.
I don't know. Maybe the matchmaking. I don't know what the matchmaking is like. I mean, maybe if you are one of these guys who grinds and grinds and grinds and grinds and really builds up a driver tire that can take those corners incredibly smoothly, maybe you'll be matched up with the like. I don't know.
What's
It is
your-
early days.
What's your experience been with the microtransaction element of it? I know that's a big deal right now in the news circles. A lot of people complaining about it and that kind of thing. I've not spent a single penny on
Yeah.
cars.
Well, I refuse to buy stuff in games.
Yeah, I'm
Just
saying.
I think someone calculated that
'Cause I'm a games
if you
writer,
bought
I
all
don't
of the
make them.
cars in Forza with real money, it'd cost at least $1,600.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's minimum.
Wait, that's if you buy all the cars.
Yeah, with real money.
But there's also ways you can stagger it because like if you buy different packs. For example, there's one car in there. I think it's a Lotus.
Sorry, I thought you meant that you could like buy a payment plan, like an actual car.
You might not be far
Finance your virtual
They've signed
cars.
up Wonga.
Yeah, oh man, that'd be incredible.
you can buy packs of tokens, which is what you buy cars with, and you can buy like 100 for 79, or you can buy like I think it's 20,000 for 64 quid or something like that.
Yeah.
But they worked it out that this Lotus in the game, which if you pay for it from a 20,000 pack, will cost you 32 quid.
Yeah.
But if you were to buy the requisite amount of shekels within the game to pay for that car, you could end up spending as much as £79 on the same car. Which, when you think about the fact that you've just forked out 430 quid
Yeah.
on top of a game that if
54,
it
yeah.
didn't come with it, it's 54. 32 quid and 79 quid on top of that is a bit of a kick in the teeth.
That's
I mean,
madness.
the argument they then give is that but you can play through the game the normal way if you want. But I think someone figured out that to get every car in the game without having to spend any money, you're talking 450 hours or so of gameplay. And when you've only got a limited number of tracks, when you've only got like 16 tracks or whatever it is, that becomes really repetitive. It's not like Gran Turismo has some, like GTA 6 was.
I mean, and that's a problem that a lot of people have
at
at races,
The
right?
same-
You have to drive. I mean, it's like Justin Tower, who did our review. He was talking about how the soundtrack, like with all of the kind of the harmonic orchestra and and it's like you're like gracefully swinging the back end of a golf like, around a corner because that's what you
That's not a
spend the
euphemism.
first hours, the first hours of Forza doing before you actually get any cars
Yeah.
that match the glamour of the presentation.
Well, that's the thing. You look at the front.
No
of
one
the
wants
box.
to. No one wants to use the Forza Vista mode, looking inside their bloody like Peugeot 206.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You look at the front of the box, and it's got that orange. Is it a McLaren or something? That big fancy
yeah,
orange
yeah.
car. Apparently, it takes like 6 or 7 hours before you've got enough credits to even buy that. If you were just like I know I don't like the word casual, but if you were just one like a ridiculously over the top gamer who is willing to burn hours and hours and hours into a game, if you just want to race fast cars, there's a lot of gameplay you need to put in. You can't even do it in free play. You need to earn the money to get.
I
these
pretty much
cars.
stopped playing after they took that car away from me, which is within the first 5
Yeah,
minutes.
it's crazy that was another crazy thing that when you start the game up, it says right here's a mental car that you're going to struggle to control because you're new to this game, and then it takes it away from you and gives you a crap car.
That's the
It's a
only
bit odd.
race I won.
Yeah, exactly.
The fast one.
I was like, oh, that was good. That was great. Yes, well, you're not doing that again, are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
thanks.
Yeah, here's a ladder.
It is, though. It's like when you say stuff like that, 450 hours to earn all the cars. I mean, like the most I think I ever played a game like in the last 5 years was Batman Arkham City, and I only sank about 206 hours into that.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane.
I could have written a book,
That would have been a great book. I'd buy that book. You should write that book.
or maybe build a house.
I've been playing Killer Instinct. I
Oh,
reviewed it for our website. It's a good game. I thought it was going to be shit. It's actually good.
Yeah.
I was like, surely. Because the thing is, like, when you play fighting games for as long as I have, and you're in the community, you develop the mentality that you think anyone that isn't Japanese doesn't know how to make a fighting game. So when Double Helix of, like, Green Lantern and other dubious quality tie-in games.
Stage at Evo.
Yeah, at Evo, they were like, we're going to show our game off prior to the finals for, like, Marvel versus Capcom, when people are at their most hyped to see how this entire, like, weekend-long Clash of Warriors plays out. We're just going to play Killer Instinct for about an hour. Like, get off the stage! Get off, we want to play. But
Look at
yeah.
the particle effects.
Yeah, but you know what? It looks good. It plays really good. It's, like, super easy if you want to just get in there, like, and if you get noobs together, like, obviously a noob against someone who knows what they're doing, it's not going to be a good match.
Yeah.
But if you get a bunch of newbies together and just give them the controller, they'll have a lot of fun doing it
Yeah.
because it looks good. Stuff happens really quickly. You just like, you hit the buttons and amazing things happen on screen. But yeah, and it's got probably the best online network code that I've played in a long, long time. I've not had a single like dropout or lag spike or anything like that.
Is that anything to do with the hardware, or is it just they're
I'm
good
not.
at it? I don't understand.
I think
it'd
it'd be their coding of how they implemented the Xbox Live into their game, which I guess if they know how it works with back end wise, it benefits them quite a bit. But usually with stuff like Street Fighter and Marvel especially, because Marvel's as fast in terms of pace as Killer Instinct, you get a lot of like shoddy gameplay online. But with this, I've had no problem so far. That might be because no one's playing it online. No one's playing it online, but I can't really tell. But yeah, for a free game, it's definitely worth picking up.
For real though, those particle effects go on way too long.
Right.
They're too long.
They look-
I don't get it. It's a thing. It's in Resogun as well. Just everyone's going, we've got loads of hardware, so let's make stuff cover the screen.
I guess that's what you want at the
10
beginning,
seconds.
right? Has anyone else played Resogun?
I haven't.
No one. That's the game I'm most looking forward to. What else is happening on PS4? Like,
Well, you guys are going to go and get one tomorrow.
yeah,
right?
I'm gonna go to a launch event in where is it? Covent Garden? Yeah. So they're
Or
having.
it'll be tonight at time of publish,
Oh yeah, tonight.
or
time
yesterday,
publish,
or
yeah,
last week,
so-
depending on when you're.
Yeah, when you're listening
Depending
to
on
this.
when iTunes
This
decides it
drop,
can be
yeah.
asked.
A long time ago, there were these things
Many
called
years ago.
podcasts.
Yeah, so I'm looking quite excited to getting one and.
It's
get-
it's a lovely machine. It really
Yeah.
is.
It is very
Amazing.
fast.
I mean, my position.
I like
has
the
been
soft
made.
tone everyone turned to.
Yeah,
this.
just-
Well,
it's
my
very
position's
nice.
been made clear on the site and in the previous podcast that the games are not yet there yet. Both machines have got something to offer, but the games are not there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, PlayStation aesthetically is a bit nicer than the Xbox One. The system itself is sexy. The UI is great. A lot of the services there offer something different to Xbox. I mean, it's the streaming's there already. It's right there on the dashboard, or whatever you want to call it, the XMB.
Such a Sony fanboy.
It is
Well,
odd how it
depending
is
on
odd.
what-
how-
I'm not a Sony fanboy. and
Yeah, you
I-
look like you wanted to say something
I'm
there.
really impressed by it.
Yeah?
And I would also argue that some of the games. I really liked Assassin's Creed 4. I really like that game. I'm going to go home after this and sail the hell out of my boat.
That
Seriously.
boat is getting
You
sailed.
know, and it is.
Travel speed, bitch.
Don't talk about the jackdaw like that. I really also enjoyed Killzone Shadowfall, which is a sentence I didn't think I would ever say. This year.
Please explain to me what's good, because I sit next to Rob Crossley, our
Okay.
associate
He
editor, and he
despises it.
constantly says that it's awful.
It's got issues. There are points in it where you're going, what am I supposed to do? Because
Does it have the adventure line?
what they've tried.
That's basically you press the button and it tells you where to go.
Well, it's got a
quickest path
an
to adventure.
an orange chevron,
Ah.
not chevron, a diamond in the distance, and it says, "Well, you're supposed to be over here then." But
What are you doing over there?
what they're trying to do, and bless them for it, bless Guerrilla Games.
Guerrilla Games.
But what they're trying to do is sort of like I would describe it as a Deus Ex Light, in that they want you to be able to sneak into a building, They want you to be able to, explore an environment that, what you're supposed to be doing is at one end of it, but there are different passages off to the side and locked doors and things like that. And so you can sort of wander around there. There's one scene where, you have to take down this collection of the Helghast terrorists who've got, these Vectans hostage. And they say, well, we can go straight through the skylight right now and go loud, or you can kick open a vent, crawl through it, and go downstairs and just recce the entire place before you decide we're going in now. And if you've ever played a Killzone game, the fact that option even exists should knock you off your chair.
I'm currently in the process of being knocked off my chair.
That having been said, you can also tell that they've got a few issues implementing that sort of style, because there are times in Killzone Shadowfall where we're going, just put me back in the corridor. Just put me in the corridor. Just put me in the corridor and put a fire behind me so I know which way to run. Send some elephants in. But it also, I mean, you've seen it. It looks
it's amazing.
Stunning.
It looks stunning.
This
It's
is
the
what
best. It's the best looking game on either of the consoles.
Rob says, that it looks like a PS3 game with the lighting just way up.
There's a reason that Rob Crossley doesn't review games for CVG.
Wow.
Can't wait till he hears
And
it.
when everyone hears the first part of our Games of the Generation podcast that we recorded, they'll find out why.
What do the games do to Rob? Did, like, someone over there win the Millennium Falcon off a moon, a game of cards or something?
Rob has a very low
Great reference
tolerance.
there. Great reference.
Very low tolerance for games that.
For games.
For games.
I missed the full stop there. Somewhere.
He loves spreadsheets and graphs and stuff. That's what we got him here for.
Excellent.
Oh man, if Jonathan Blow made a spreadsheet game.
That's what his favourite game currently is Football Manager, isn't it? That's basically
No.
spreadsheets, isn't it?
Did Jonathan Blow do Football Manager?
No, I'm saying
Imagine
Jonathan. Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. The post-match interviews would just be ridiculous.
Just depressing as all hell.
What I was trying to do.
You don't even manage the football game. You just discuss it afterwards.
And how does it make you feel?
All right, Joe, you've played Oculus Rift.
The real next generation, as they called it
so
at
we-
this
so we've
event.
heard.
What did
I
you
went.
play on it?
Pardon?
What did you play on it?
I'm going to tell you. I went
Just get rid of
to.
the saliva.
Football Manager.
I went. Yeah, that was incredible.
Spreadsheets just floating
All
the
up
air.
in my eyes.
What happens is they put you in a 360 ball, and you've got to look at all the spreadsheets in the ball. No, it was at Bossa Studios, the people who made Surgeon Simulator, so I had to go on Surgeon Simulator.
Nice.
That was
Yeah.
good.
Because if you're going to start out...
Oh, it's incredible.
Start with the easy one.
That's the best, so I'm going to get to that last. I played a game that was made in less than 3 weeks, they said, for Game City, that Nottingham development thing.
So you
That's the
played a
one.
surgeon simulator in a game that was made in 3 weeks. Did
Yeah.
you play anything good?
And,
What is
well,
this 3-week game?
Oh, it's called Tomb, and it's by a couple of guys. I think they go by Spilt Milk Studios. And essentially, it is a collaborative game where they based it off Nightmare, the old TV show. So essentially, one person wears the Oculus Rift and has a torch and is just put in a labyrinth but can't tell where they are. They're being chased by 2 monsters. Each monster is mapped on a screen that can't be seen by them, and people have to shout out where to run through the labyrinth whilst they're doing it. So it becomes this big collaborative
Sounds
thing.
amazing.
It's incredible. Like it's rough at the moment, and I think if there's enough kind of interest and the Oculus takes off, then they're going to iterate on it. But it's an amazing thing when it's the first time I'd ever put on an Oculus Rift, and it was this weird thing where you put it on and you're like, oh, I get it, right? So it's it's 3D, and for me, I was a little underwhelmed. I was just like, oh, right, so that is what it is. Now I looked up to the ceiling, and the thing just goes on forever, and you're just standing there going, "Oh my god!" Right, I totally understand. It's the sense of pitching your head up and having so much more there than you expected. Like there is just something else. Yeah, it's incredible. So the next game I played was Strike Suit Zero, which came out in January.
That's the Kickstarter game, right?
Yes, yeah, and which is the dogfighting / mech in space game.
Yeah. Zone of the Enders looking thing.
Yeah, it's a really cool game. It suffers a bit on the Oculus at the moment because
you play as the pilot, I'm guessing.
you play as the pilot, and then if you change to a mech, it zooms right out, and you've got the mech. So that can be disorienting, but it works. The problem being at the moment, the Oculus Rift tech is SD, and so you can see all the pixels, and it makes everything really blurred. It has this weird effect where to really focus on things that are close up, you have to like really open your eyes. So it just feels like you're constantly startled by everything.
The
So
killer
like,
app is that game where you have to clean up the mess that someone's
Oh,
made
that's
in the
great.
first person
I
shooter.
forgot what it's
What's
called
that?
now. I forgot what it's called. I did
It's
it.
basically, you imagine if after you've blasted through like a level in Quake,
oh, I have
a
heard
cleaner
about that,
has
and
to
you're the
come in and
janitor.
mop up
Yeah.
the gibs.
It's
Cool.
annoying that because it suffers from like weird. It's like you go into the environment and you've got all this blood, guts, and stuff like that. But the game's not like properly. It's not done yet. So occasionally you'll get one item which you keep trying to dispose of, but it keeps respawning. So when I was playing, I kept putting a heart in a bucket, and then I'd look away and then turn around and the heart's on the floor again.
Didn't they?
That sounds
Didn't
quite
they add
creepy.
that to Shadow Warrior though?
Yeah, they linked that into Shadow
Yeah.
Warrior. So there's an area in Shadow Warrior now where you play as a janitor cleaning up after the guy that's just wiped out all the enemies. But yeah, that's good. What else? What else? Strike Suit Zero.
Oh well, the Strike Suit Zero kind of works, but they need the HD tech basically, as far as I can tell. The one cool thing in it is it does that thing where you're in a cockpit, so you get the sense of you're not like feeling ill running about.
Those are the best games.
Yeah.
I get the impression, the Oculus Rift games, because obviously the kind of fidelity that it's offering to your head and being able to look anywhere
Yeah.
and feel like you've finally broken into the experience. You're detached from that by having a controller in your hand,
Yeah.
controlling a lot of the things that you see. Whereas if you're, that's why they demonstrate it a lot with, what's the mech
Eve.
game?
Oh no,
Oh,
that one, Hawken.
Hawken.
yeah.
Because if you're there pulling levers and, using a controller, that's what you'd be doing inside
Yeah.
a mech anyway. You're just looking out of the windows while you pull levers. It makes sense as an immersive experience.
Yeah. Well, that's the amazing thing.
The best game that I've seen is that guy who did the mod for Trucking Simulator.
Oh yeah,
And he
that
had
is
like
that
a
is
wheel
cool.
and stuff, and he's just like in his truck, like
Looking at
out the window and
Birmingham.
stuff. Like, awesome.
Yeah. No, this one had the weird effect where Tomb you felt detached, like you knew something, you could tell something was going on. But with this, the first time I was in the cockpit, I looked down, saw my legs sitting down, and nearly fell over. Like it just immediately, just oh my god! Right, it just doesn't make sense in your body. It works like
So
that.
Nick, you used it on Eve Online, right?
Yeah, well, not
Eve Valkyrie,
Yeah,
that's the other
Eve
dogfighting one, right?
Yeah, and it's it's like you said, it's you look up and you can see fighters shooting over the top,
Yeah.
and you can actually see the canopy of your fighter jet and a crack in the glass, and you look down, you see your legs. I mean, it is when you first do it, it's very, very disorientating. What I also liked about it is that the way you play it is kind of like if you've ever seen the Battlestar Galactica series.
Yeah.
The latest one, not the one with Templeton Peck from the original 18. But if you remember that Battlestar Galactica, the dogfights in there were very, very well designed because they all are designed around zero gravity. So it's the idea you use short thrusts and you can flip yourself over very, very easily, and you don't have to outfly someone with speed. You can actually just outmaneuver them with little kinks and things, and it's very well designed along those lines. It's a real trip, actually.
It's really strange. It properly messes with you afterwards as well. You can feel the effects of having been somewhere else for a bit.
I expected to feel sicker after using it. That was the weird thing because, when you're following another fighter, you literally feel like you are about to do a 360.
Well, barrel rolling's
barrel rolling.
crazy, and
How,
really
how
messes
big
with
is
it.
Oculus Rift going to be? I mean, when it eventually goes to full products, I mean, also you can get dev kits now.
If they price it right, I think it could be genuinely
And obviously
huge.
it's confined to PC gaming.
It is, and
And
it
pretty
wouldn't
powerful
surprise me.
PCs at that to be
Yeah,
capable of.
it wouldn't surprise me if it's stays as a niche product for a long time. But there were these talks. Part of the Bossa Studios thing is you have a couple of devs come up and talk about their games and how all of this stuff is working. And they were talking about the Oculus now have their eyes, so to speak, on another studio who have made a similar technology, but is beaming images directly into your retina. So it's getting to this stage where just
What the hell?
yeah, it is moving faster than it's
But
coming
again,
out.
the technology sounds amazing, but it has to be accessible, right?
Yeah.
The biggest threat to Oculus will be when Sony bring out their headset, which they're definitely working on.
Yeah.
Which will come out presumably sometime next year.
I guess that's
and
how
I spent some time with Oculus recently, and they in not so many words they made it quite clear that and it doesn't have to be spelled out. That it's just not possible, really, realistically, to make Oculus compatible with even the new consoles because, the game has to be rendered twice and it has to be at 60 frames per second minimum. I mean, I know we're only at launch games, but how many launch games run at 1080p, 60 frames per second?
Yeah.
And that's being rendered.
Oculus
that's being
Rift,
rendered,
Wii U. That's
that's
all I'm
being
saying.
rendered once, not twice.
wow.
And for the Oculus games to really work, it needs to be much, much higher than 60.
Yeah.
It certainly sounds like you both had a very different first experience with the Oculus Rift. And I
Oh
did,
yeah, you had
because
that dodgy dude.
Jesus Christ! I was at Eurogamer Expo. I was interviewing some guys from Ubisoft, and I had 10-15 minutes to spare before my first interview. So I was just walking around the show floor, seeing what was there, and everyone. There was a few Oculus Rift booths about, but they had massive queues, and I thought I'm not going to have time to queue to try this out because I've got interviews soon. And as I was walking about, I saw just this one guy standing with a monitor and an Oculus Rift, and one guy playing it, and nobody else there. So I thought, yes, I'm finally going to get to try Oculus Rift. So I stood and waited, and this guy left, and I finally got to try it out. And the guy said to me, he said, "You need to take your glasses off." He said, "Are you short-sighted?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's good. I've put this weird lens over it for short-sighted people that I've created." I thought, okay, so that's not good. That was strike one. I should have realised then. So okay, so I put it on, and everything was really zoomed in, which I'm assuming isn't how it's supposed to look. It's because he'd put this weird lens on it, and it was in this kind of dungeon. And I said to him, "What game is this?" He says, "This is just something I've made myself." I said, "Okay." So I'm walking
and the
up.
man's name was Dr. Emmett Brown.
No. So I was walking about in this dungeon. I thought, right, okay, I can see. But it wasn't blowing me away, but I thought this is pretty cool. And I'm looking around this dungeon, and he's put all these weird effects in. Each dungeon was basically a room. Each room was essentially showing off a different lighting effect or something like that, and there's flames flickering and stuff. Okay, I'm walking about. I said, "Why did you make this?" He said, he said, I'm just.
Why are you here?
Who are you? And I said, "Well, this is pretty cool. Why did you make this?" He said, I'm just I used to work for a software company, and now I'm kind of independent, and I just made this because I noticed I was feeling really ill whenever I played Oculus Rift, and I made this almost as a demo to see if I could figure out why I was ill every time I played it. And I should have thought, well, your fucking lens is probably a good start, but I thought, okay, so that's interesting. I says, "Well, I don't feel ill. I feel okay." I was looking about. And he says, "Yeah, I found usually I kind of figured out that I feel ill whenever I run backwards in it." I said, "Okay," so like an idiot, I tried running backwards. I said, "Yeah, no, I feel okay." I was playing along. 5 minutes later, I felt violently ill. I said, "Actually," he said,
And he's just standing behind you.
And he said,
I
I said, I see what you mean. I'm starting to feel. He says, "It's only another 10 minutes. Don't worry." I thought, okay, I don't want to insult this guy by like just stopping and saying, "Fuck your game." Like I feel. So I said, "Okay, that's fine." So I'm trying to properly speedrun for the rest of this dungeon, properly legging out. "Fuck your flames, I don't care. I don't care about your lighting effects. I need to get out of here." And it got to the point where I just had to stop, and I said to the guy, "I'm sorry, I can't play this anymore." I took the helmet off, and I was like, felt so violently ill. And I checked my watch, and I had to literally run over to the interview booth and interview the guy that was making the crew for Ubisoft, while like properly stifling vomit. So it's just
That's
like,
probably what got it delayed.
I was the worst.
He vomited on him, and he was like, "I'm not."
Yeah,
fucking
they're like,
what
look,
did you
in
think?
a meeting,
Was
look,
it-
the last guy who I saw about it was actually throwing up. We have to delay this game.
He's like, "What did you think of the crew?" I was like, "Bleh." so yeah, that was probably the Oculus Rift led to the worst interview
But
of my
yes.
life. But I realised that's probably not.
Yeah,
The
it
general-
sounds like
that-
you had a unique experience with
I had
that.
a real
What else
melting
have
pot
you played?
of.
Well,
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah.
the most amazing one there was Surgeon Simulator, because it has that thing where you're not quite in control of that game at any point anyway. And so what they had was this device controller called the Razer Hydra. I don't know how well known that is. It understands where your hands are placed when you're holding it, and it has a few sets of buttons on it. So you've got the two hands in Surgeon Simulator that are moving around with your head as well, and it places you in the level I was playing was the level in space where you're trying to do brain surgery,
Right.
and so all the tools are floating around you, and so every time you watch someone playing this, it looked mad because they were just like stretching their hands up around the room trying to grab bone saws and like just failing, and it's incredible, like the feeling of actually floating around and like knocking a tool away when you have full control of a hand each. Is it's like nothing else I've ever played. It was genuinely amazing.
But you know what's more interesting?
What?
Anecdotes about being sick at press events.
True. Very
Even
true.
more interesting, Powershot Golf.
We're not going back to
It's
that.
the future
That's
of golf.
it.
It's the future of golf.
That is it. Is there anything else that anyone's been playing? that you particularly want to be talking about?
Any more anecdotes about being sick?
No,
Yeah,
just
any
I
more
got an
anecdotes?
anecdote about being sick.
Yeah,
Go on.
go on.
I was
Sounded like you teed yourself up.
It was
there.
at Gamescom many years ago, and I had an interview with the lead designer of, I believe it was the first World of Warcraft expansion, Burning Crusade. So, especially back in those days, it was quite an important interview.
Was this when it was still at Leipzig?
Yeah, because Blizzard are nowhere now.
Well, no,
cares
but
about
if you had an interview with the latest World of Warcraft expansion now is no way near as important as an interview
first
back
one.
when it's the biggest game in the universe.
Was this at Leipzig?
Yeah, it was at Leipzig. Yeah, it was many years ago, and I was feeling massively ill. And I think I walked into the interview and I was sharing it with an American chap. Apologies if he's ever listens to this. I remember walking
He's
in,
like, yeah,
sitting
I
down-
remember
It
that.
made you sick.
Sitting down at the table, giving him a business card, introducing myself, sat down, just stared at my notepad for a second, looked up and just went, "Can you excuse me for a moment?" Left, found the nearest toilet, was violently ill,
Jesus.
went back about 15 minutes later, caught the last 5 minutes of the interview, got one question in, thanks. But I left the dictaphone in there. So
Smart.
Nice.
One
yeah,
question. So,
um,
that Burning Crusade, eh?
I was going to say,
some
why is
very
it called
kind
Burning
American chap conducted an interview for me while I was
That's
being
amazing.
very ill.
Have you ever been motion sick while reviewing a game? That was only ever happened to me once.
No.
I had to go to IDOS in the early stages of my career to their offices to review Bionicle Heroes on the Wii of all games. It was a terrible game. But yeah, just after they let me in the room, they said, here's a Wii, there's a game, go for it, and just we'll come in every now and then and see if you need a drink or anything like that. So I was sitting playing away the game, and within like an hour I felt really ill. It was weird. It was 60 frames a second, which didn't happen much on the Wii at that time. So it was just something about it was just didn't sit well with me. And yeah, I just couldn't play it anymore. I got to the point I couldn't. I had to take the instruction manual out, and I was just reading the manual just to pass the time because I thought I can't play this game. And the PR came in while I was reading the manual, and I looked up and was like, yeah, it's good. It's signed off properly. That was atrocious.
Amazing.
Yeah, I get ill quite a lot.
I think I think now that we've covered all the sick topics, we should probably wrap up. Thank you for joining me, Andy. Andy looks like he wants to throw up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be ill.
Nick, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And telling us about Ryse and elephants and other things.
Well, yeah, I mean, but if you want a good game to play on current gen, get XCOM, Enemy Within.
Yeah.
That.
Or buy a Wii U and get
Super Mario 3D
Super Mario
World.
3D
We
World.
didn't even talk about that rubbish game.
It
We
is
talked
the
about
best
it.
game. We did talk about it
it
last week.
extensively last
You
week.
just want to get flamed, don't you?
Yeah.
No, well, anyone
Attack.
who's listened to the previous podcast where I gushed about it for
Yeah.
30 minutes.
I've been playing Legend of Zelda on 3DS. That game is excellent. Fully deserves a 10. Buy that game. If you don't have a 3DS, buy one for it.
I've been playing Loco Cycle, not so good.
No one cares about Loco Cycle.
Sorry.
Thank you, Chris
Thanks.
and Joe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
That's staying in.
That's staying in.
That's staying in.
Definitely not.
I just realised that we didn't. I put up a thread on the forum saying, "Oh, send me questions so we can use it on the podcast." And then we all walked out not having answered the questions. So me and Joe felt really bad. So we're back in the studio. It's just us two.
The quickfire round.
Yeah,
The
it's a quick
sensual
fire. I'm
quickfire
just gonna
round.
I'm gonna fire questions at you. It's just me and you, like I said. Andy's not here. Neither is Nick or Chris.
Yeah.
So we are going to go.
You're going to answer
First-
some of these because remember, I haven't played any of the next gen stuff.
I'm sure you'll be. Just make up an answer.
All right,
I
cool.
guess. First one's from Balladeer. I haven't pre-screened these, so they might just be like.
I like this guy. He said something nice about me once.
He's a nice guy. He
He's
says
cool.
nice things about
Sup,
everything
Balladeer.
and everyone. We all understand that developers don't want to knock off retailers by undercutting their prices with digital releases, but that doesn't mean they have to take the absolute godforsaken piss. What would the CVG team say was a fair and diplomatic way of pricing digital games?
Like RRP.
Yeah, RRP is what it should. See, the thing is, like everyone always says, everyone always thinks digital games should be cheaper because there's no box. It doesn't have to go out, and I still don't understand why that isn't the case.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
It should be cheaper than it is at retail.
Yeah,
right?
it should be, and it is on Steam and it works there. But the fact is that most of these companies have been around longer and think in old ways. I mean,
Yeah.
particularly Nintendo are they are an institution.
Yeah.
They have their ways. They stick to them. It just works out that way.
And there's an element of cutting the retailer out of the equation, which could upset them when
Well, they've all got,
when they sell your box.
like Balladeer
So-
says, not taking the piss is
Not-
out of
yeah.
both sides is
Yeah.
the problem, and it's not quite there.
If they want to reach a point where they're just not taking the piss, just make it RRP.
What I say, just everyone do PS Plus.
Yeah.
That's the best deal.
Have you
like,
seen
anywhere.
Microsoft's latest PS Plus
No.
equivalent? They're giving away Gears of War.
Oh, aren't they giving away World of Keflings as
That's
well?
done. That's done. The next one is Gears of War, which you
Nice.
can buy for pennies on Amazon.
Yeah.
Not so serious question from Balde. How are you going to enjoy the consoles? What? Buying a new TV? Question mark. Got a special room set up with snacks? And if so, what snacks? How are you going to deal with your other half? Does she or he, depending on who is answering, game 2, or have you got her 4 weeks worth of apologetic bouquets in advance?
Well, with my girlfriend, what I've done is not bought any of the consoles.
Killed her.
She's in a pool of blood. No, maybe cut that out. Yeah, basically, I just haven't bought anything, and we have a very harmonious little flat.
Anytime I do something and someone says, "Are you playing a game?" Yes, for work.
That's the best thing.
It's fine. I get away with it. I don't really care.
We do have that. The moment I got this job that I have currently, I saw my dad shortly afterwards and said, "Hey, Dad, do you remember all the times you told me to
I did the
stop
same
playing
thing.
video games because you'll never get anything out of it?" Well, screw you!
I did the same thing to my mom.
And I punched him in the face and ran.
That's not nice.
Yeah, I quickly switched into domestic abuse.
This is from El Mag, who's another favorite on our site. Now the next gen is coming. Now that this gen is coming to an end, what has been the high and low points for you? I don't know. This is
Well, see, it's a thing that's happened in the last few years and has just started to creep in. But it is kind of a next gen thing. Is the low point is the whole microtransactions thing. Like, so few games get it right, you know, and the few that do tend to be mobile games. Like, I don't know, it doesn't work in my head at all. It puts me off so much.
I think the high point is having a few mobile games that are really, 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 really genuinely good. Like, it feels good having mobile games that are cheap and they're amazing to play. Like, Mega
You know what I'm going to say, Mega Dead Pixel.
Pixel, Drop 7, that kind of thing. Even Peggle. And I think the other high
Isn't Peggle
points,
£10 now or something?
on PlayStation, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, it's about £40.
Ridiculous.
Mad. The other high points are there's been some great games, but you can listen to our special Game of the Generation podcast. We're
That
going
I'm
to
not
be putting
on.
out that you're not on, unfortunately. But
Dynasty
it's all right.
Warriors has been the
Dynasty.
highlight of every generation since the first
He also
one.
asked which one of you would finish second behind my Yoshi on Mario Kart 64.
Probably you.
It'd
You're
probably
good at
be me,
games.
yeah. But then again, I'm shit at Mario Kart.
Are you?
I was yeah.
I
I'm
bet
terrible.
you'd.
Well, Mario Kart is not. You can't play that competitive. Like as someone
you're
who
one of
plays a
them.
lot of competitive games, don't bring that bullshit to me.
You
like
can play
Mario Kart.
competitive.
It's,
It just works under its own rules, same as Smash
rubber
Bros.
banding bullshit. No,
Good
it's not how it
stuff.
works.
Love it.
Andy, and Tom Ivan. Andy, who's on the podcast. Tom Ivan, our news editor, are really, really good at Mario Kart. Like annoyingly good.
Really?
So they'd probably maybe beat your Yoshi to number one. Probably beat your Yoshi to number one.
I've told myself that the next Mario Kart
I'm
I'm
gonna
actually
learn.
going to be good at. I'm going to try.
I might do that as well.
I think there's
'Cause
probably still some rubber banding. going on,
What usually happens is Mario Kart will come out and it will turn into an office-wide thing.
Yeah.
There's a period where I don't know if you were here at that time.
but I wasn't.
We used to play Mario Kart for the entirety of a lunch break, and it would be everyone from Edge, from OXM, O&M together playing and like passing off the controller and stuff like that. It's really fun. The last auto asks, who would win a fight between Honey Badger and a shark with laser beams on its head on neutral ground?
Are we talking about honey badger as in the animal, the honey
The Honey
badger?
Badger, yeah. Honey Badger's
We're saying neutral ground.
yeah.
Right, so the shark is dying. If we're
Yeah.
talking about neutral ground being some earth,
Yeah.
then the shark
Shark
loses.
is dying.
If neutral ground is the sea, the shark wins. Stupid question.
That was. But honey badgers are.
Honey badger with
screwed.
armbands in the
Have
sea.
you seen that
win.
video? Honey badger is crazy.
Probably.
Go to YouTube and search for honey badger is crazy or something like that. It's narrated video of some guy just narrating a honey badger's life, and it's like honey badger is crazy. Don't give a fuck. it's funny. You gotta watch it. Barry316 says, if you could have one console this Christmas, what would it be?
If I could have one console this Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got a
Assuming-
good PC.
A good PC.
That's what I
okay.
want. I
Yeah.
want a good PC with
By
an Oculus
default,
Rift now.
if we're talking about I have to buy one and I want to get the best games, Wii U. If you're talking about me currently, I have an Xbox One and a Wii U, so obviously but PlayStation.
Genuinely, I think you'd be insane if you had enough money. If you had enough for a good PC or less. Not getting a good PC is madness.
Yeah.
That is just wrong.
I agree. The last auto again. How do you define a hardcore gamer? Personally, I define a hardcore gamer as open-minded and being able to play and enjoy many games across a wide variety of genres.
I would say a hardcore gamer is someone who classes themselves as something and doesn't need to. Just play games and enjoy it.
If you like a game, you're a hardcore gamer.
Why do you need Why do you need to be in a little club?
Yeah, it's fine. Leave it. Forget it. Don't worry about it. Don't. At the same time, don't let anyone tell you you're not a hardcore gamer.
Well, just chill.
Just chill.
Everyone
Forget
chill.
It. Yeah.
I think we've got a message of peace, kind of like two John Lennons.
Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. Barry316. Now that you've had time to look back, do you think GTA 5 was a little overrated?
No, it's incredible.
It is an incredible game. I will admit that it's kind of tapered off for me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm still. It's
Are
only
you playing
because a lot
online?
of other stuff has come out. I've not played online even
Online
once.
is so good.
I want to go
With
back
friends,
to it.
Online is
I am
the
gonna.
best.
I am gonna go back to it. It's just because all this PlayStation 4 and Xbox One stuff started happening. But I will go back to it.
It's good enough that I would say GTA is my game of the year over Super Mario 3D World.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That is an incredible game.
Last
from the
auto
story.
again. Last auto is just all up in this question thread. What do you think are going to be the big new things of the new generation? The front runner for me are the Dark/Demon Soul styles, blurring of SP and MP modes.
I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that.
I think that will and should happen.
Because the thing that people forget is that happened already with Zombie U, and
Yep.
it was brilliant. Like
Yeah.
some of the times I met friends as zombies were some of the best moments I had. Last year as well. Like. So good. Like I want to see more of that.
I think pretty much the other stuff Last Auto says is social and sharing and that. You're pretty much right. Everything you've listed in your post is right. Twitch, microtransactions are going to become more prevalent.
Maybe VR.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you talked about Oculus Rift, and
yeah, and like Andy was saying, like it's kind of down to Sony now, and if they get it right, then I'm in. Like, yeah.
Gigaman 70.
Let's say Gigaman.
Gigaman 70.
This makes him sound like he's trying to be better than Mega Man.
No one's better than Mega Man. This one's for me. Did you review Killer Instinct using the D-pad or the fight stick? I think I'm right in saying my 360 stick, Soul Calibur 4 stick, won't work on, or 5 stick, won't work on an Xbox One. Can you recommend me one, or is there a new D-pad okay for the time being?
You gave that question the requisite enthusiasm.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm tired, man. And the answer's pretty simple. I reviewed it using our controller, the Xbox One default controller, mainly because as you say, the standard Xbox 360 sticks don't work on it, and the new sticks are mad expensive.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, they're like they're 200-300 quid or something like that.
Oh, that's
and
insane.
then I can.
Who wants that for Killer Instinct?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like for Killer Instinct, probably not. If it's a new Street Fighter, maybe. The D-pad is much better than the original one. If you're a dedicated stick player, it's going to take some getting used to, but it's serviceable. I can do. And a lot of the combos are just dialer combos. You don't need strict motion times, and the timing on combos is very lenient. Last Auto again. Seriously, Last Auto, man. Have you had any wear and tear related problems with the DualShock 4? I asked because there were pics a few weeks ago of thumbsticks falling apart. I guess I can answer that one. No, it's been fine so far. The one in the office, no one's complained about having one. Have any problems with it? Flash 501 says, my question is, what the hell is going on with the prices of the EA PS4 games on the store? Do you think that it has anything to do with EA being quite cozy with Microsoft these days, even though they assure us it doesn't? So the prices were really high.
Yeah. That's the $62.99.
But since then, it's gone back to be normal price now. So the Xbox and the PS4 prices digitally are the same.
I think people read a lot into these things. I think it was probably set by some officious person in an office somewhere who didn't really think it through, and everyone went, "Oh my god!" The things sort themselves out.
Yeah.
They have done it.
I mean, it's good that people went, "Oh my god!" Otherwise,
Oh yeah, of course it is. But
continue to do that, but don't put the conspiracy theory behind it.
There's nothing to it.
Yeah,
It's the same as
Joe says.
It's the same as Ubisoft's games being £55 on the Wii U. Sorry, I always come back to the Wii U. It's the only thing I play.
Fine.
But they were £55 on the Wii U. That's that's crazy. Like, no one wants to pay that for the Wii U version of Splinter Cell. But, you know, as soon as people realised that this was the case, people stopped buying it. Loads of games have gone down in price since then. You know, you can get Ubisoft games cheap. It's just a matter of flagging these things up and then they're changed. It's just people not understanding that. I think people forget how huge these businesses are, and that one department might never talk to a creative person who would understand that a gamer would never want to pay that much.
Exactly. Stone Cold MC says, what titles are you most looking forward to playing next year across any platform?
Next year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, Titanfall, I guess?
I do want to play Titanfall.
Yeah.
That looks good, because it looks like Call of Duty, but not really boring, so that's fun. Like,
Titanfall, Smash Brothers, if it comes out.
I don't think it'll be next year.
It's not going to be next year, is it?
It'll be late next year. If
I'm just going to say a bunch of games which I assume...
Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2.
Oh.
Bayonetta 2. Fallout, maybe. I doubt it's coming out next year.
Nah.
That teaser looks mad fake. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
This is the first year where I'm like, I don't know...
What I want from...
Monster Hunter 4?
Yeah,
I'm down for
Monster
Monster
Hunter
Hunter 4.
Yeah.
Like, because it's got Dragon's Dogma climbing. Yeah. Best.
That is a great mechanic.
The two best games.
Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter, whenever that's out.
Is that actually exciting to someone
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you?
it is
Okay,
genuinely
cool.
exciting.
To someone like you. I made that sound like a hate crime.
To some. It's basically... Imagine, this is going to sound really shit and I haven't thought it through, but imagine you play rock, paper, scissors for 2 years and then someone comes and says, did you know you can do black magic?
Okay.
So it's that game-changing thing.
I called that black hole or dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
So it's basically they're taking this thing that we've learned very, very strictly and we know inside out, and they're rebalancing it and adding more like characters which are effectively more, you know, like variables to the cast, and it kind of reinvigorates the game for the people who have kind of played it into a wall. They know it inside out now. So yeah, it's
I'll tell you
genuinely
what.
exciting.
Has that Magicka MOBA game come out yet?
No,
I'm a huge fan of Magicka, and I'm really excited for that. I can see you hating Magicka.
No, I like
played it?
Magicka.
I was going to say it might be too random for you.
No, I don't know if I want to play a
You
MOBA
like
about
order.
it though.
Well, it's not. They call it a NOBA because they're very funny men. But the cool thing about it is, like, it has got all the random spellcasting stuff in it. So I like the idea of some random element in a MOBA because that's such a strict, structured world. That's what keeps me out of it because I'm like, I don't want to learn. I don't like learning routines. I hate that. That's not my kind of game.
Yeah.
But something with a random element in that structure that works for me. I'm down for that.
You just reminded me of Heroes of the Storm. I don't know if that's coming out next year. That's Blizzard's MOBA, but it's kind of very much geared to teaching newbies how to play a MOBA. It's got their heroes in it, and it's much the same thing, but it's designed to be a little more welcoming to newcomers, and it's less routines like just march down this lane. It's got more like variables in the map. So like they're explaining it, like on one map there's like you can find this evil pirate guy, and he's like, go out and collect me these
Dustin Hoffman in
treasures.
Hook.
That's an evil pirate guy.
Yeah.
Not sure he's going to be in
The
Blizzard's
boo box.
games. You got to collect basically the skulls, take it to him, and then give it to him as a sacrifice, and he'll fight for your team and stuff like that. So yeah, that could be interesting.
It's weird how when genres get big enough, people start making games as tutorials for other games. Like
weird.
Happened in fighting games as well. You get Killer Instinct.
Killer
You were
Instinct's
talking
a
about
big one.
Skullgirls did that as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's a weird trend.
Do you think we'll see any full HD collections on the new consoles, like older GTA, for example? That's from DJ Replay.
I don't think you're going to see GTA.
No.
I think that would be an ordeal to try and reskin. But you're gonna see some classics. I wouldn't be surprised to see. I don't know, the Bioshocks. I could definitely see Bioshock 1 and 2 being released as HD collections.
Stuff like Borderlands.
Except you can't call them HD collections anyway because they're all HD anyway.
Yeah. Ultra
Director's
HD
cut.
collections.
4K
collections.
They can't output at 4K, but they just trust us.
What's your choice as best launch game for next gen, not including Wii U? Sorry, Joe.
That's fine. Best launch game for the next gen.
I'm hard pressed to say one game is outstanding. Currently, the game I'm most interested in is Resogun. I think what I'd say is Assassin's Creed, probably.
Is Octodad coming out at launch?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the only PS4 game I've played.
Great game, but Assassin's Creed 4 is an excellent game. Flash 501. Was there any game this gen that got universal acclaim that you thought was way overrated?
In retrospect, Bioshock Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
But I still really like that game.
Yeah.
There's a difference between something being overrated and bad and overrated. I just think Bioshock Infinite was like, it was a really nice construction. I don't actually think nothing made me want to go back. Bioshock I played again. I don't even like Bioshock that much. Like the actual combat is terrible. It's just the story holds it together.
Right.
Bioshock Infinite is a good combat game. I think the story's not as good. Unfortunately, they haven't quite found the midpoint for me yet.
Right. Mine's The Last of Us. I thought it was.
Oh, you hated that because of stealth, didn't you?
The stealth was messed up.
You
The
creepy
combat was
stealth
a bit
for you.
weird. Yeah, my stealth. I just need. If you're gonna do it properly, or don't do it at all. I just didn't like the guy kicking around cans while I'm trying to be a sneaky hero, and the combat was a bit weird for me. But yeah, I think that was overrated a bit much. Some people gave it 10s. I don't think it's a 10 at all.
We've both gone for things that were this year.
Yeah.
What previously was there? I didn't like Red Dead as much as everyone else. I thought Red Dead had an unsatisfying story. Not an unsatisfying ending. The ending's brilliant. The actual flow of that story didn't work for me.
Yeah, I thought it was very uneven. There's bit like everyone always talks about it, where he's basically firebombing an entire village of people, and he's supposed to be a nice guy. He's just it's a victim of circumstance. But he's actively firebombing people. It's like, that's a bit weird. So yeah, it is uneven. I don't know. I don't remember it getting 10s. I remember it getting like.
Oh, it got 10s.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a 10. Maybe like a 9 or 8.5 or something like that. I don't know. Daddy or chips?
Daddy or chips?
Do you know the reference?
I do.
I'm gonna say it like the girl says it. Chips.
I'm going to leave that to you. You can choose
That'll
for
do,
us.
that'll do.
Go with chips.
What else have we got here? How often will you be doing these podcasts? I asked
Weekly.
Balladeer. I've answered this in the thread, but I'll just say it for anyone who's not reading the thread. We'll be doing them weekly for as long as we can, for as long as you guys listen, for as long as you rate and subscribe and get us up the charts.
I'm gonna just keep trying to come in as a completely useless member of the team for as long as
you bring
possible.
the humour. That's what we need.
I bring the humour. Well, thank you very much.
What else we got? Looks like that's all of it.
Is that every question? If we just blitz
Also,
them?
I haven't had my boxers or pants question answered. Well, boxers or pants?
Boxers or pants? Boxers.
Boxers. Yeah.
Well, unless we're talking about pants in trousers, then I want trousers.
Briefs.
Yeah, not briefs. Never briefs.
Uh,
Briefs are the mark of a lesser man.
boxers are the
or
way
an
to
older
go.
man.
Yeah, boxers are the way to go. Stoombox, Ouya et al. Is there room in the market for a new breed of console? Maybe not a new breed, a more convenient breed.
Not even a more convenient breed. There is a niche to be filled in being the pure digital console.
Yes.
And no one's solved that yet.
Yeah.
Steambox could do it, but the problem being all of these things connect to platforms that are way too diverse and way too quick to evolve. The problem being you need to find a digital solution where you can force developers to go, don't get better than this much that our box can take.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the hurdle. If anyone can do it, Valve can do it.
Yeah.
If they go, just don't ever pass this point, then people might do it. But
I agree. Paul Skinback, which I feel like is some sort of racist comment.
Is
like a name?
It sounds more like a sexual euphemism to me.
Maybe, yeah. Isn't it about
It's probably
time?
just someone's name.
Yeah.
That's essentially bullying.
He's like, oh, God, that's just my name. Isn't it about time we had one console format? No, competition is good, keeps people on their toes. That kind
you can make that whole argument that like one console format with loads of third parties would be a good thing, but it doesn't. You're going to get a stagnating pool of hardware decisions. So I think it's better to have everything.
We are on the last page of the forum thread now,
Oh
and
my God.
internet is crapping out. It's like, trying to load. What happened when Superman and Batman went holiday? Answer: nothing. Superman stayed at home mourning the death of Batman, who had choked to death in his own eyelids. I don't know what just happened here.
So that's not a question.
That's not a question. It's just a very strange statement.
Say it again. What happened when
he
Batman...
put down, this is Tales' Joy.
Oh, that guy.
Question: what happened when Superman and Batman went on holiday? Answer: nothing. Superman stayed at home mourning the death of Batman, who had choked to death on his own eyelids.
Interesting. I mean...
I have a new job as a window cleaner, but accidentally slipped and broke a window. I then decided to smash all the windows in hope that the owner wouldn't notice.
This sounds like a riddle.
I would have gotten away with it too if the bathroom window wasn't frosted. Tails' joy, you need to seek out help.
Chill.
Be cool. Right, that's all the questions.
That's the last question.
that was
That's
the
how
last
we're
question.
ending this podcast.
That's how we're going out.
Right, we're not ending it on that. I want to ask you a question. Why did you wear the same colour clothes as me today? We're both fully in black with white shoes.
I have a webcam set up in your house. You are not aware of its existence. Every morning I watch you get dressed and coordinate my clothing to match yours so that we can be closer together in heart subconsciously.
The Scrabbles
Then
and
one
Hussein
day
show.
I will convince you to leave your girlfriend and run away with me.
Interesting. Well, that is a nice way to end the podcast, and I thank you for it.
Please vote.
Please vote for me. I'm running for mayor.
Whatever. Please rate and subscribe on iTunes. If you did subscribe during the last week and you're having issues with it, unsubscribe and resubscribe.
Worked for
Because
me.
iTunes were like, what is this brand new podcast? Let's break it. And so they broke it and we fixed it. But
This
it's
is the
all good
best
now.
way to keep your podcast going,
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
insulting iTunes.
Oh, crap.
We've
Sorry.
done that twice
Sorry,
on this
Steve. He's
podcast.
dead. Who cares? Yeah, so rate and subscribe and tell us what you think about it in the post that goes along with it. And we'll see you next week.
Word to your mothers.
Bye.